Yeah, next Oats episode on YouTube. Oats rips into the Game of Thrones writers. I feel like a lot of shows are going to try to take over the Game of Thrones gap, right? But I think Game of Thrones left such a bad taste in people's mouth that they're kind of like... They're very, like, skeptical or, like, hurt. Like, we're afraid to get committed anymore. You know? I don't know. That's kind of the way I feel. I'm afraid of commitment because the last time I committed to something, I was just let down. It's like you're afraid to fall in love again, you know? Who hurt you, Oats? Game of Thrones did. It hurt everybody. Yeah, but that's no excuse for completely fucking idiotic, incoherent writing. People go, this is what I thought too. But the thing is, I still feel the same way. I give them a little bit of lenience. I give D&D a little bit of lenience. And go, okay, well, that's fine. They're out of source material, but that's okay. A little bit of lenience is totally fine as long as it progresses in a decent manner. Because they're writers, right? They're creators. So they can at least pick up the slack, right? Or so I thought. No, Dan and Dave or whatever. The guys that, the people that worked on Game of Thrones. No, Game of Thrones was awesome, man. It was such a good watch. Up until season 7. Even season 6 was a little bit flimsy, but it was still good. I loved it. But the last 2 seasons were a little bit hard to watch. Some of the best cinematography I've seen, though. Really amazing shots, really awesome. Looked awesome. But they sacrificed good writing for that, you know. Yeah, they completely rushed character development. See what they could have had? It would have been fucking awesome. Season 7. It would have been the development of the Night King and his army. If you haven't seen Game of Thrones, close your ears. Which it kind of was. The end of season 6 to season 7. God, it was getting good, and I was so fucking excited. The end of season 7 too was like, okay, this is it, you know. So they could have like furthered the development season 6 and 7. Okay, season 8 could have been an entire full season, mind you, not a half-ass season. Could have been an entire build-up of you-know-who's progression into madness. It could have been like a themed, like, oh shit, like that was an awesome season. Like it was dark, it was, and then season 9 or 10 could have been, you know, some final actual development, but like a full season to where it's not like God, they just rushed it so fast. It was so disappointing, man. I was so excited for like good shit. Well, you know what the silver lining is here? Is that D&D are going to go in history being the worst botch. What can you say? They botched one of the greatest pop culture like time period. What can you say? Game of Thrones was so big in pop culture, right? Everyone fucking loved it. And they loved it without it being stupid and predictable. That's what people liked about it. But they try to make it stupid and predictable to reach a wider audience. The show was already fucking huge. And they ruined a huge pop culture, like, icon, which was Game of Thrones, you know? But they're gonna go down in history being the fucking shitters that ruined possibly one of the greatest TV shows. Yeah, got a hold of everyone. But then they would say stupid shit. Oh, we just wanted to appeal to more of the football sports fan. Oh, you sure did. Yeah, they said that. They wanted to appeal to more of that type of audience. I can't remember their exact like language, but it was pretty much that. Yep, so they ruined it. because they're idiots. They got too caught up, and they ruined it, and now they're going to go in history being the destroyers of one of the greatest potentials. So that's good. I'm happy about that. I'm so bitter, dude. I could keep going, too. There's so much shit that pisses me off. Like how they could have had... They had the opportunity to do more seasons, both recommended by both HBO and George, that were willing to help them. They declined George's help on more seasons and his recommendation and HBO's request to make more seasons because they wanted to go work on other shit. And they didn't even end up working on Star Wars. Thank God. Probably because their shit stain they left on, TV. What's better, The Wire or Breaking Bad? Because I think Breaking Bad's like one of the greatest TV shows ever. If Game of Thrones could have kept like an insane progression, it would have been Game of Thrones for me, but they didn't. So I think Breaking Bad is the best. Wait, so how did they get fired from Star Wars? How does that even happen? So were they actually fired because of the way Game of Thrones ended? You know what also pisses me off? On their writing, D&Ds, they would like say dumb shit. Like you know how it ended? Drogon and shit. It was Drogon, right? Pretty sure. And how everyone was like, well, we're trying to like redeem it in any possible way. Well, shit, maybe he did that with Jon because, he knew that it caused so much pain. But in their fucking notes, it just says he just did it because it was just in his way. Just scribbles. They're just fucking scribbling. I didn't necessarily mind the way it ended. And I think that, in conclusion of my rant, I don't necessarily mind the way Game of Thrones ended. I think the ending was fine. The way the characters kind of did their things and what happened with the characters, I think that was fine, and I was satisfied with that. Being a big Game of Thrones fan, just the way it got into it was too much. How it got there was just... But I'm just saying, if anything is redeemable, I'm not trying to spoil it too much, because if people want to watch it, it's worth a watch still. It is worth watching. It is great. Honestly. It was so much fun to watch, and it meant a lot to me. Like, it was a huge part of my life back when I started watching it, because it was just so good. I got so immersed into it. But Season 7 is okay. Season 8 is some of the best cinematography. It's great. It's awesome. Other than that fucking episode when it's just black and you can't see shit. And they fucking compress their videos so bad it looks like absolute ass. But even then, that episode was pretty dope. Yeah, that would have been cool if they did a spinoff. But now I don't even want that. Why? I don't even want to look at it no more. It's like that fucking crack. It's like the stepchild you raise and you're forced to love. And then you go, okay, you suffer through it, and then you just end up doing crack. It's like, dude, I don't want to look at it no more. Dude, you know what also pissed me off? Is they're trying to look like fucking God writers by filling in prophecies. All these fucking self-fulfilling prophecies. Anyways, I'm done.